you tired of feeling trapped by financial struggles? Today, I'll reveal 10 Stoic habits that can shatter the chains of poverty and lead you to lasting freedom. Have you ever wondered if a philosophy from ancient times could transform your life today? I'm here to tell you that Stoicism, a school of thought born over 2,000 years ago, holds the key to not just personal growth, but financial liberation as well. Stoicism teaches us to master our minds, to focus on what we can control, and to let go of what we cannot. It's a powerful framework that can guide us out of the chaos of financial struggle and into a place of clarity and purpose. Imagine this: small, intentional habits rooted in the wisdom of thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, building up day by day. These habits create a domino effect, toppling barriers of scarcity and leading you toward prosperity and inner peace. It's not about quick fixes or overnight riches. It's about steady, disciplined steps that reshape how you see yourself and your resources. Stoicism shows us that true wealth starts within, and through these daily practices, we can craft a life of both material stability and unshakable calm. Let's explore how this ancient wisdom applies to our modern challenges. As I reflect on the challenges many of us face, it becomes clear that financial poverty often walks hand in hand with a deeper, more invisible struggle: mental scarcity. You see, it's not just about the lack of money in our pockets. It's about the constant worry, the gnawing fear that we'll never have enough. This state of mind traps us, making every decision feel like a battle for survival. I've observed countless individuals who, despite working tirelessly, remain stuck in a cycle of lack, not because opportunities don't exist, but because their habits and mindsets keep them tethered to scarcity. Think about it. How often do we procrastinate on managing our resources or let impulse guide our spending, only to regret it later? These poor habits, like ignoring small financial leaks or seeking comfort in unnecessary purchases, build walls around us. And then there's the flawed mindset, that belief that happiness lies in the next paycheck or possession. But as I've come to understand through Stoic wisdom, true poverty isn't just material. It's the poverty of thought, the inability to see beyond immediate desires or fears. This mental scarcity clouds our judgment, making us reactive rather than deliberate. It's a heavy burden, one that weighs down both our wallets and our spirits. And yet it's a burden we can lift by examining the roots of our actions and thoughts. If we look closely, we often find that the chains of poverty are forged not by circumstance alone, but by the choices we repeat day after day. As we dig deeper into the struggles of poverty, I've observed how certain behaviors keep so many of us trapped in a cycle of lack, both in our wallets and in our hearts. First, let's talk about ignoring finances. Too often, people avoid looking at their bank accounts or bills, hoping the problem will just disappear. But this negligence only breeds chaos. Debts pile up, and small leaks turn into floods. It's not just about money. The stress of the unknown eats away at our peace of mind, leaving us emotionally drained. Then there's the chase for material happiness. I've seen countless individuals equate joy with the next purchase, a new gadget, a fancy car, only to feel emptier once the thrill fades. This pursuit tricks us into thinking more is better, but it often leaves us with less, both financially and spiritually. And perhaps most damaging is living beyond our means. It's so easy to fall into the trap of spending what we don't have, driven by social pressures or fleeting desires. I've watched people drown in credit card debt, sacrificing their future for a fleeting sense of status. And the weight of that burden crushes not just their finances, but their spirit too. These habits, ignoring reality, chasing empty highs, and overreaching, form a vicious loop. They rob us of control, leaving us poor in resources and rich in regret. But there is a way out, a path to break this cycle, and it starts with a shift in perspective. A shift that ancient wisdom can guide us toward. Now, amidst this cycle of financial struggle and emotional scarcity, there is a timeless solution, one that doesn't rely on external riches, but on the strength within us. I'm speaking of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches us to master our minds as the first step to mastering everything else, including our money. The Stoic philosophers, like Marcus Aurelius, often reminded us that we cannot control the external world, be it economic downturns or unexpected expenses, but we can control our reactions to them. Aurelius wrote in his Meditations that we must focus on what is within our power and let go of worrying about the rest. Similarly, Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, emphasized living with intention, urging us to value time and resources as precious assets. Imagine applying this mindset to your finances. Instead of being swayed by fleeting desires or societal pressures, you anchor yourself in clarity and purpose. This mental discipline is where true wealth begins. By taming the chaos of impulsive thoughts, we pave the way for deliberate actions that build financial stability. Stoicism isn't just about enduring hardship, it's about thriving through wisdom. A wisdom that tells us prosperity starts not with a full wallet, but with a focused mind. As we move forward, let's explore how these teachings translate into practical habits, beginning with the courage to face our financial reality head-on. Let's dive into the first Stoic habit to break free from poverty. Stop ignoring your finances. As a philosophy rooted in self-awareness, Stoicism teaches us that we cannot control what we do not understand. The ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often reflected on their actions and resources, ensuring they lived with intention. For many of us today, financial struggles persist, not because of a lack of money, but because of a lack of awareness. We avoid looking at our bank accounts, dodge budgeting, and let spending slip through our fingers without a second thought. But let me tell you about Clara, a young woman who transformed her life through this very principle. Clara used to live paycheck to paycheck, overwhelmed by debt and uncertainty. One day, inspired by the Stoic idea of facing reality head-on, she began tracking every penny she spent. She created a simple spreadsheet. noted her expenses, and confronted her financial habits. At first, it was uncomfortable. Seeing the truth often is, but over months, Clara identified wasteful spending, cut unnecessary costs, and started saving. Her newfound clarity gave her control, reducing stress and paving the way for stability. Stoicism reminds us that awareness is power. By knowing where your money goes, you take the first step toward mastering it, just as you master your mind through reflection. This habit isn't about perfection. It's about progress. Start small, track your expenses for a week, and see what you discover. Next, we'll explore another trap that keeps us bound to poverty, associating wealth with happiness. We'll meet Daniel, a man who had money but lacked joy, until he embraced a Stoic perspective on true contentment. Let's turn to the second Stoic habit that can transform your relationship with money. Stop associating wealth with happiness. As a philosophy, Stoicism teaches us that true contentment comes from within, not from external possessions. The ancient Stoics, like Seneca, often reminded us that chasing material wealth as a source of joy is a sure path to endless dissatisfaction. They believed that happiness is rooted in virtue and self-mastery, not in gold or grand houses. No matter how much you accumulate, if your mind is restless, no amount of riches will fill that void. Consider the story of Daniel, a man who seemed to have it all: a high-paying job, a luxurious home, and the latest gadgets. Yet, despite his wealth, Daniel felt empty. He worked endless hours, bought things he didn't need, and still couldn't sleep at night. One day, he stumbled upon Stoic teachings and decided to simplify his life. He cut back on unnecessary expenses, started appreciating small joys like a quiet evening walk, and focused on meaningful relationships. For the first time, Daniel found peace, not in his bank account, but in his mindset. This aligns with the Stoic idea that external things are indifferent. They are neither good nor bad, unless we make them so with our judgments. Wealth can be a tool, but it's not the goal. When we detach happiness from material gain, we free ourselves from the cycle of wanting more and never feeling enough. Instead, cultivate gratitude for what you already have and seek fulfillment in your actions and character. Reflect on this. What truly makes you feel alive? Often, it's not a bigger paycheck, but a sense of purpose. As we move to the next habit, we'll see how another trap, living to please others, can drain both your finances and your inner peace. Let's explore how to break free from that burden. Let's turn to the third Stoic habit that can transform your relationship with money and life. Stop living to please others. As I reflect on this, I'm reminded of how often we chase approval from those around us. Friends, family, even strangers on social media. We buy things we can't afford, wear masks of success, and stretch ourselves thin just to fit an image that isn't truly ours. This relentless pursuit of external validation doesn't just drain our bank accounts, it empties our sense of self, I've seen countless individuals caught in this trap, spending beyond their means to impress, only to find themselves in debt and despair. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, teach us a profound truth. The opinions of others are beyond our control, and thus not worth our peace. Instead, we must anchor ourselves in our own values: honesty, integrity, simplicity. Imagine redirecting that energy and money toward what truly matters to you. Whether it's building savings or investing in your growth, ask yourself, am I living for my own purpose or for someone else's gaze? When I started focusing on my inner compass rather than society's expectations, I felt a weight lift. Financially, I stopped overspending to keep up, and emotionally, I found clarity. The Stoic path isn't about isolation. It's about liberation. Choosing a life aligned with your principles over fleeting applause. So take a moment, reflect on where you seek approval, and courageously let go. True wealth isn't in others' praise. It's in your own conviction. Let's turn to another critical habit inspired by Stoic wisdom. Stop spending beyond your means. As I reflect on this, I'm reminded of the Stoic principle of self-control, a virtue that the ancients, like Seneca, held as a cornerstone of a good life. They taught us to distinguish between what we truly need and what we merely desire. A simple yet profound idea that feels so relevant in today's world of endless consumerism. Needs sustain us. Food, shelter, basic health. Wants, on the other hand, often tug at us through shiny advertisements or fleeting trends, promising happiness that rarely lasts. Consider this: every time we overspend, we're not just draining our wallets, we're borrowing from our future peace. Stoics urge us to live simply, to find contentment with less. Imagine reallocating money spent on unnecessary things towards savings or investments. That's how frugality builds a foundation of financial security. Step by step. Start small. Track every expense for a month. Question each purchase. Is this a need or a want? Over time, this habit of mindful spending becomes second nature, aligning your resources with your true priorities. As we cultivate this discipline, we inch closer to freedom from financial strain, embodying the Stoic ideal of living within our means and finding abundance in simplicity. Let us now turn to a powerful Stoic habit. Stop blaming others for your financial struggles. As I reflect on the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, I'm reminded of his words: "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. How often do we point fingers at circumstances, employers, or even family for our lack of money? Yet in doing so, we surrender control over our own lives. Stoicism teaches us personal responsibility as a core virtue. It's not about what happens to us, but how we respond. Imagine someone drowning in debt, blaming a tough economy. While the struggle is real, focusing on external causes keeps them stuck. Instead, Owning their decisions, perhaps overspending or not seeking new skills, empowers them to act. Marcus Aurelius urges us to look inward, to stop excusing inaction. When we take responsibility for our financial choices, we reclaim the reins of our future. True wealth begins here, in the courage to say, "This is my path, and I will walk it." Let this habit sink in, for it is the foundation of change. Let's turn to the sixth Stoic habit that can help break the chains of poverty: stop avoiding risks. As a philosophy, Stoicism teaches us that life is inherently uncertain, and avoiding risks only keeps us stagnant, trapped in a false sense of security. The Stoic masters like Epictetus remind us that growth lies on the other side of discomfort. They believed we must face challenges head-on, not shrink from them, for it is through action that we shape our destiny. Think about financial risks, whether it's investing in a new skill, starting a side hustle, or stepping into an unfamiliar career path. These are not reckless gambles, but calculated steps toward freedom. I've seen this in the story of Sophie, an aspiring entrepreneur. For years, she stayed in a safe but unfulfilling job, paralyzed by the fear of failure, until she realized that the real risk was staying still. Inspired by Stoic courage, she launched a small online business. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks and sleepless nights. But by embracing risk, she expanded her venture into a thriving source of income. Her story shows us that poverty isn't just financial. It's a mindset of fear. Stoicism urges us to reframe risk as opportunity, to ask ourselves, what's the cost of not trying? When we take responsibility for our choices, as we discussed earlier in Habit 5, we empower ourselves to act despite uncertainty. This courage sets the stage for the next habit, where we focus on personal development as a cornerstone of success. So let us not shy away from the unknown, but step boldly into it, knowing that true wealth, both inner and outer, awaits those who dare to grow. Let's turn to another transformative Stoic habit. Stop neglecting personal development. As a philosophy rooted in virtue and wisdom, Stoicism teaches us that growth is not a luxury, but a necessity. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, often emphasized the importance of daily self-improvement. He wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." His words remind us that our minds are our greatest tools, and neglecting to sharpen them is akin to leaving a field unplowed. In the context of escaping poverty, personal development directly ties to financial success. When we invest in learning, whether through books, skills, or new perspectives, we expand our capacity to solve problems, seize opportunities, and create value. Imagine someone stuck in a dead-end job, not because of a lack of ability, but because they've stopped growing. By contrast, consider those who dedicate even a small part of their day to learning, perhaps studying a trade, mastering a craft, or understanding financial basics. Over time, these small efforts compound, opening doors to better income and stability. Seneca believed that time is our most precious resource, and to waste it by ignoring self-improvement is to squander our potential. So ask yourself, what can you learn today that will build a stronger tomorrow? Whether it's reading a book, taking a course, or simply reflecting on your mistakes, commit to growth. Financial freedom isn't just about money. It's about becoming the person capable of earning and sustaining it. As we move forward, we'll see how this dedication to growth prepares us to embrace life's uncertainties with courage and clarity. Let us turn to the 8th Stoic habit to break free from poverty. Stop resisting change. In Stoicism, we are taught to embrace life's uncertainties as natural and inevitable. The ancient Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, often reminded themselves that change is the only constant in the universe. Resistance to it only breeds frustration and stagnation, while acceptance opens doors to new opportunities, especially in the realm of financial growth. Imagine clinging to an old, familiar path, even when it no longer serves you. How often have we seen people trapped in dead-end jobs or outdated habits, fearing the unknown? Yet, it is through change that we evolve. Let me share the story of James, a man who worked for years in a declining industry. When his company downsized, he could have despaired. Instead, inspired by a Stoic mindset, he saw this upheaval as a chance to pivot. He retrained in a growing field, embraced the uncertainty of starting anew, and within 2 years, built a career that tripled his income. James understood what the Stoics teach. Change, though uncomfortable, is often the gateway to abundance. When we stop resisting, we start adapting, and in adaptation lies the potential for prosperity. So ask yourself, are you resisting a necessary shift in your finances or career? Embrace the flux of life. Let's turn now to the 9th Stoic habit to break free from poverty. Stop fearing failure. As I reflect on this, I'm reminded of Seneca's profound insight. He once wrote that setbacks are not the end, but rather teachers in disguise. To a Stoic, failure isn't a wall. It's a stepping stone, a lesson that sharpens our resolve and clarifies our path. When we fear failure, we paralyze ourselves, missing opportunities to grow, especially in our financial lives. Think about how many dreams of wealth or stability have been abandoned because of the dread of falling short. Consider a historical figure like Thomas Edison, whose journey mirrors this Stoic wisdom. Edison failed thousands of times while inventing the light bulb, yet he didn't see those attempts as defeats. He famously said he hadn't failed. He just found thousands of ways that didn't work. Each misstep brought him closer to a breakthrough that not only transformed his life, but also lit up the world, literally. His persistence turned setbacks into wealth, proving that failure, when embraced, can be a powerful ally. From a Stoic lens, I see that fearing failure keeps us trapped in scarcity. If we avoid risks in our careers or investments out of fear, we limit our potential for abundance. Seneca would urge us to reframe our losses as tuition paid for wisdom. That failed business venture? It taught resilience. That bad investment? It taught discernment. View each stumble as a necessary part of the climb to financial freedom. When we stop fearing failure, we start building the courage to try, to learn, and ultimately to succeed. As we reach the final habit in this Stoic journey to financial freedom, let's confront a barrier that holds so many back: the habit of postponing our goals. I've often observed how easy it is to say, "I'll start tomorrow," or "I'm not ready yet." But as Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, reminds us, time is the one resource we can never reclaim. He wrote, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." Think about that for a moment. Every moment we delay, we lose a chance to build the future we desire. In the realm of finances, this hesitation can be crippling. Saving, investing, or even learning a new skill for better income. These are steps we must take now, not later. I recall someone who dreamed of starting a small side business, but kept waiting for the perfect time. Years passed, and the dream remained just that, a dream. But when they finally acted, taking small steps like creating a simple plan and saving a little each week, their financial landscape began to change. Stoicism teaches us that action, however small, is the antidote to procrastination. Don't let fear or doubt paralyze you. The path to freedom starts with a single step taken today. Ask yourself, what is one thing I can do right now to move closer to financial security? Maybe it's setting a budget or cutting an unnecessary expense. Whatever it is, act on it. Seneca urges us to treat each day as if it were our last, to live with urgency. So, let's not wait for a sign or a better moment. The moment is now. Break free from the chains of delay and watch how consistent, intentional action transforms not just your finances, but your entire life. As we've seen through these habits, true wealth isn't just about money. It's about mastering your mind and your time. Let this be the day you stop postponing and start building. As we reach the end of this journey, let's reflect on the 10 Stoic habits that can break the chains of poverty and lead us toward true freedom. First, stop ignoring your finances and face reality with clarity. Second, stop tying wealth to happiness and find contentment within. Third, stop living to please others and honor your own values. Fourth, stop spending beyond your means and embrace frugality. Fifth, stop blaming others and take full responsibility. Sixth, stop avoiding risks and see challenges as growth. Seventh, stop neglecting personal development and commit to lifelong learning. Eighth, stop resisting change and adapt with courage. Ninth, stop fearing failure and treat setbacks as lessons. And finally, stop postponing your goals. Act now, for time slips. Which Stoic habit will you adopt first? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like this video, and subscribe for more life-changing Stoic lessons. Let's break free from poverty together.